So basically last week on Wednesday, we had seen the packet delivery mechanism. So we'll just revise this diagram. Okay. I would request everyone to draw this diagram, okay, on their books and note down what is being told so that you can understand it better. Okay. So without looking at all these things that are written on the diagram as of now, you just imagine that we'll take some people from your class only. Imagine that this is Imam. Okay. This is some post office. There's the internet or some connection of post offices you can think. Okay. Imagine that this is a security guard for your building complex. And imagine that this is you. Okay. So for example, here we'll take this fellow as Yash. So let's imagine that the mobile node here is Yash. Okay. He's staying in some building complex which is guarded by some security guard, which does not allow the security guard does not allow any communication to happen without passing through it. Okay. Say these two, that is Imam and Yash, want to communicate with each other. So if they want to communicate with each other, obviously they must know each other's address. Okay. So say this address of Yash is Goa. Okay. So if Imam wants to communicate with Yash, then he will be sending all the data or all the packets or all the letters to the address of Yash, which is Goa. Clear? So he'll be preparing a packet. He wants to send the packet to Yash. He'll be putting the address as Goa, and he'll be forwarding this packet to its post office. Okay. The postman will take that letter, and he will try to various connections or various post offices. To the various post offices, he will forward the letter here, okay, to the security guard. When the postman reaches to the security guard here, okay, the security guard will check for whom this letter is intended. When he finds that the letter is intended for Yash, he will check whether Yash is present inside this complex. If Yash is present within this complex, this letter will be forwarded to Yash. So the job of the security guard is to check whether Yash is present within the complex. If Yash is present within the complex, letter will be delivered, and this is how it will keep working. So as long as Imam puts the address correctly of Yash, the letters will keep getting delivered to Yash. Okay. And now the same thing, imagine without all of this. Okay. Imagine that instead of Imam, the person that is corresponding or the entity that is corresponding is known as the correspondent node. So correspondent node is nothing but one part of the two devices that will be involved in the communication. And instead of a post office, we'll be having a device known as the router, which is responsible for routing your packets. Then there's a router is connected through the internet, okay, and it is connected to something known as a home agent. So instead of a security guard, you will be having home agent. So this home agent is nothing but, again, it is a router. Okay. So home agent's main responsibility is to check whether the MN is present within the home network. So home agent basically maintains a list of all the nodes within the home network. Okay. So one of the nodes within the home network is your MN, which is your mobile node. Okay. So as the data packet, as long as the CN knows where the MN is, the original address of the MN, okay, the CN knows only the original address of the MN. It does not know the other addresses. If the MN shifts later on, the CN will not know the other addresses. As long as it knows the original address, and it puts the original address correctly into the data packet, the packets will be delivered correctly. Okay, so like we have been taking the example, let's say the MN's original address is Goa. So as long as the CN puts this address Goa correctly, this packet will come here to the HA. First it will be given to the router. The router will route it over the internet. It will reach the HA. The HA will see that this packet is intended for the MN. Okay, since it's intended for the MN, it will check within its home network whether the MN is present within the home network. If it finds that a MN is present within the home network, this packet will be delivered to the MN. This is how the communication will take place between the CN and the MN. If the MN wants to return the packet back, okay, it obviously must know the CN's address. So it will prepare, if the MN wants to reply to that data, it will prepare a packet with the address of the CN, whatever is the address of the CN. It will give the packet to the HA. The HA will, through the internet, send the packet to the router of the CN, and the router of the CN will give the packet to the CN. Okay, so this is how the packet system, the packet delivery system works between a CN and a MN, as long as the MN is within the home network. But remember, what is the MN? The MN is a mobile device. Okay, a mobile device. So mobile device need not stay in one place. It can keep on moving. Okay, so if you all have understood this case of how the correspondence works or how the communication works between the CN and the MN, we can look at the second case. So does anyone have any difficulty between this case? Please let me know. So I won't repeat this process again. You can let me know in the chat box. Does anyone have any doubt how the communication works between CN and MN if the MN is present in the home network? Any doubt about this? Okay, let's go to the second case then. So in the second case, let's assume, okay, that your MN, this let's again go back to that thing where this was Imam, okay, and your Yash has, now this was Goa we had said, so Yash now is moving, okay, he's going for say some holiday, so he is going to some other place. So say this is the other place, and say is gone to some other place, say Mumbai. Okay, so this is Yash. So Yash is moving to Mumbai for a vacation. So as he's moving to Mumbai, he tells his security guard, this is his building now, he tells the security guard of his building, if any letters come for me from Imam addressed to me, do not send it here. Do not send it here because I'm not present in Goa. Okay, but instead of sending it here to Goa, you send it to Mumbai. Once I go to Mumbai, I will get my new address and I will give it to you. Okay, please understand this scenario. So Imam only knows the Goa address of Yash. Imam only knows the Goa address of Yash. Imam does not know if Yash is moving around. Okay, so whenever Imam wants to send a letter to Yash, he will put the Goa address of Yash and send it. Okay, Yash is free to move around. He will move wherever he desires. Okay, but Imam, when he is sending any data to Yash, he only knows one address of Yash, that is the Goa address. So whenever he is sending data, he will send the data to the Goa address. Okay, remember this point. So when Yash was going from here to here, that is, he was moving from one network to another network or from one place to another place. Yash informs the home agent that he is no longer going to be here in the home network. He is shifting to a new network. Okay, and any letters that come to or Yash from Imam has to be delivered to the new address. Okay, so now when he goes to a new address, say a new place, Mumbai, okay, obviously he is in a new network, a new building, so he has to find a new security guard of this building. He has to find this security guard for this building now. Okay, that process of finding the security guard of this complex or of this network, that process of finding that security guard is known as agent discovery. So whenever a mobile node goes to a new place, okay, a new network, he has to find the agent or the router responsible for that network. So that process of finding that router who is responsible for that network is known, that process is known as agent discovery. Please remember this term, agent discovery. So there are two ways of doing agent discovery. We'll go into details later. Okay. So one is known as agent advertisement. Second is known as agent solicitation. So there are two methods of finding this agent. Okay. Agent advertisement, agent solicitation. Okay. So through this process of agent discovery, what we are doing, we are finding the agent responsible for this foreign network, okay, or this new network. So once that discovery is done, the mobile node will find the agent. From that agent, it has to obtain a temporary address. Okay, that temporary address is known as care of address. That temporary address is known as care of address. Okay, and the new agent that it finds is known as a foreign agent. The new agent that it finds is known as a foreign agent. So I'll just repeat this thing again. Please note it down. Okay. Originally, the mobile node was in the home network. Okay. And all data that was coming to the mobile node is to come through the home agent. So any agent, home agent is nothing but a router, okay, which keeps track of all the nodes within the home network. One of the nodes within the home network is the mobile node. Okay. So when the mobile node goes to a new network, like here, the mobile node is gone to a new network, it has to find the agent responsible for this network. Okay, so it finds the agent responsible for this network through a process known as agent discovery. Okay, this process of finding an agent is known as agent discovery. So agent discovery, again there are two ways: agent advertisement, agent solicitation. So once it does the agent discovery, it finds the agent, and this agent is known as the foreign agent. The mobile node now obtains a temporary address known as the care of address. Okay, so this care of address tells the mobile node's current location. Okay, so again going back to that thing where this was, we were calling the correspondent as Imam, and this is Yash. Okay, so Yash now tells this security guard that I have gone to a new location, Mumbai, and I have obtained a new address. I obtained a new address. So now Imam will be sending data to this, to Yash, to the address Goa. Okay. So whenever that packets come with this address as Goa, you divert these packets. Instead of sending them here, you divert these packets and send the packets now to this address. Okay. So now in order to send these packets to the new address, what the home agent does is it encapsulates this packet. It takes this original packet sent by Imam, encapsulates that packet and puts the new address. So your MN had obtained a new address in Mumbai, okay, known as COA. So your home agent takes the new address and puts the original packet within the new packet and sends the new packet. This process of putting another packet on top of the original packet is known as encapsulation. Okay, remember this word, encapsulation. So this here, the original packet was sent with the address as Goa. This packet, original packet, which was sent for Yash, will be delivered to the new address, because the home agent checks that MN is not present here. Since MN is not present here, this packet cannot be delivered to the home network. It has to be delivered to the foreign network. So if you are going to deliver it to the foreign network, you have to put it inside one new packet. So in the new packet, you put the new address, the temporary address, which is the current location of the MN. So the current location of the MN is known as the care of address. So this process of putting a new packet is known as encapsulation, and you send this new packet across a virtual path. This virtual path that you are sending is known as a tunnel. So this encapsulated packet is sent through a virtual path known as a tunnel. At the end of the tunnel is your foreign agent. Okay. So this encapsulated packet is received at the COA. When the foreign agent gets this packet, it decapsulates the packet. The decapsulation means removing this extra packet that the home agent had put. Okay. So once you decapsulate, you get the original packet that was having, this was the packet which was sent by the correspondent node, and you forward this original packet to the MN. So this is how, when the MN keeps on moving, the data that is being sent is received correctly. So the correspondent node doesn't know where is the MN present. Okay, it thinks that MN is still present in the home network, and it puts that home network's address and forwards. Okay, whatever is the address of the MN that correspondent node knows originally, that address is put, and that packet is forwarded to the across the internet to the home agent. When the home agent gets that packet, the home agent decides if MN is present here, it forwards the packet directly. Okay. If MN is not present here and it is gone to a new location, the home agent encapsulates the original packet, puts the new address. What is the new address? The care of address, and forwards the encapsulated packet through a tunnel. What is the tunnel? A virtual path. Okay, to the foreign agent. The foreign agent then decapsulates. What is the meaning of decapsulation? Removing the extra packet. Okay, takes the original packet now. After removing the extra header, it removes the extra header and forwards the original packet to the MN. So this entire process is known as packet delivery in mobile IP. So this is how, although your MN can keep moving across the entire world, as long as it stays connected to the internet, it will get its data. Okay. If it wants to reply back to the CN, it can reply even if it's present in a home network. So it will prepare a data packet containing the CN's address, forward this packet to the home agent. Sorry, not to the home agent. Since it's in the foreign network, it will forward it to the foreign agent. Then through the internet, the foreign agent will forward it to the router of the CN. And then the router will forward that packet to the CN. This is how the reply will come from the MN to the CN. Okay, is it clear how it works? This is the packet delivery system that we had discussed in the previous lecture. So I'll just pause for a second and let me know if you are having any doubts. Okay, yeah, I'll reply to you, Pranav. But right now, besides this question, do you all have any question about this? Have you all understood this process? It's a very important question, very important topic for the rest of my topics in today's lecture and the rest of the unit also. So that's why I'm just revising it. Yeah, Pranav has asked a nice question. I'll reply to that question. But any other questions regarding the packet delivery in the home network, in the foreign network? Yes, all clear. Yeah, tunneling is basically from home agent to foreign agent. Okay, because encapsulation and encapsulation happens at the home agent side, decapsulation happens at the foreign agent side. Okay, so can anyone okay, let's just imagine that can anyone try to reply to Pranav's question? What do you think will happen? Pranav has asked, what happens if the MN goes to some other foreign network from a foreign network? Does the foreign agent encapsulate the message again? What do you all think will happen? So what he means to say is, right now we are having just one foreign network here. So he wants to know if this MN goes to some new foreign network. Okay, new foreign network. Say this is the new foreign network. The MN is no longer here. MN comes here. So what will happen? There is a new foreign agent here. These are connected to the internet. So MN has come here now. From home network, it went to one foreign network. Okay. From this foreign network, it came to another foreign network. So how the packet delivery should work now? Can someone try? Do you all think there will be one more encapsulation, or what will happen? Can you all try this? Yeah, Stella. Again, packet will be sent to home network. Correct. The home agent will be informed of the new COA. Correct. Correct. Okay. So, yeah. So yeah, I think you all have, some of you have understood. Yeah, this is correct. Stella and Sakshi have replied. So I'll put it together and tell you what happens. Okay. So I'll just repeat, just have patience, okay? I'll just repeat something so that it goes into your head, okay? So when a MN goes from a home network to a foreign network, his first job is to find a foreign agent. So the job to find a foreign agent, that process is known as agent discovery. There are two ways of doing that agent discovery: agent advertisement, agent solicitation. Okay, so once any one of these two methods is applied, the MN gets a temporary address COA, okay, which tells the current location of the MN. COA is nothing but it contains the current location of the MN. So once the MN gets the current location, the COA, it informs the home agent about this COA. Okay, so it has to register. It has to register the COA with the home agent. Okay, so suppose this temporary address is in Mumbai. Okay, the home agent needs to be told that it has obtained a temporary address in Mumbai. Okay, so this it has to tell the home agent about the COA. So that process of telling about the COA is known as registration. Okay, it has to register the COA with the home agent. Clear? Okay, only when it registers the COA with the home agent will the packets that are coming from here get diverted here. Okay, if it does not register the COA with the home agent, then the packets that are coming here will not get diverted. So only if it is registered, this once it obtains the COA, it has to register the COA with the home agent. Only if it registers, these packets that are coming will get diverted this way. Okay, I told you how it is getting diverted. The entire process of encapsulation, tunneling, and decapsulation. Okay, that entire thing is encapsulation and decapsulation. That question will come as what is meant by tunneling. So if you are getting that question, then you have to tell what is tunneling. The tunneling is basically the process of when the mobile node moves to a foreign network, a mobile node moves to a foreign network, it finds a foreign agent through the process of tunneling, and through the foreign agent it obtains a temporary address known as care of address. It registers this care of address with the home agent. Okay, once this is done, the CN sends a packet with the address of MN. So once the home agent receives this packet with the home address, it checks that MN is no longer present here. Okay, since MN is no longer present here, it encapsulates this packet. Okay, encapsulates this packet and tunnels it to the foreign agent. The foreign agent decapsulates the packet. The foreign agent decapsulates the packet. Okay, and once it decapsulates the packet, it will deliver the decapsulated packet to the MN. Okay, so this is the entire way your packet delivery works. Okay, so this was just for you to get it clear. Okay, now I'll answer Pranav's question. Okay, now the MN was here. Okay, so now according to Pranav, he wants to know what will happen if the MN goes from one foreign network to another foreign network. So this is again a foreign network. There is a foreign agent. It has done a agent discovery. It has done a agent discovery. Okay, and obtained a new COA. This is a new COA now. So once it obtains a new COA, it has to register this COA with the HA. In order to continue getting the data, it has to register the COA with the HA. Okay, so MN is no longer present here. It is come to a new network. It has done agent discovery, and from that agent, it has got the new COA. Okay, once it gets the new COA, it registers that new COA with the home agent. Okay, once that process is done, now this correspondent node is putting the address of the original address, whatever was the original address. So suppose the original address of the MN was Goa. Okay, so it puts this address and sends. It knows only this address within the home network. It sends to the router. Through the router, the packet comes to the home agent. Okay, so now home agent checks that the mobile node is not present here. Okay, because the mobile node has registered the new address with it. Okay, so it encapsulates this packet. With the new location of the mobile node, and it tunnels this encapsulated packet to the foreign agent. The foreign agent, what it will do? Decapsulate this packet, remove this extra header put by the home agent, take that original packet and deliver it to the mobile node. So this is how it works. So although your mobile node will keep moving from one location to another, okay, as long as it registers the care of address with the home agent, it does not matter how many foreign networks it keeps moving. Okay, it can keep moving from one foreign network to another, does not matter. As long as it registers the care of address with the home agent, the packets will be delivered correctly. Okay, did you all get it? Yeah, basically the mobile node will be registering through the foreign agent only. Okay, yes. So did you, Pranav, is your question answered? And others also, I hope you all understood. You all may get register question for your exam. It's little applicative, so you have to just use little. I think it's how MN to CN happens. Yeah. Prathamesh, do you mean when MN is in foreign network or when MN is in home network? MN in foreign network. Okay. So basically, now think that you understood the entire process of encapsulation and decapsulation. So CN had prepared the data and it sent to the MN. Okay, it received the packet. The MN has received the packet from CN. So now, if the MN wants to reply, MN already knows the CN's address, whatever the address of CN. Okay, so what it will do, it will prepare its data, put the address of the CN. Okay, it knows. So, and forward it to the foreign agent. The foreign agent through the internet will deliver the packet to the router of the CN, and the router then forwards that packet to the CN. That is the way MN will reply to the CN. Is it clear? So this is how the reply comes from the MN to the CN. I'm happy to see that you are asking questions. It means that you are understanding. Is it okay? Understood? This is your IP packet, no? When you are sending the IP packet, you know that packet format, no? Prathamesh, where you all have studied in CN. There's a source address, there's a destination address. Okay, so I mean, you know that IP packet format, no? You all have studied in your computer networks. So through that IP packet, there will be at least these two fields will be always there: source address and destination address. Okay, so when this originally your CN is sending now a packet, so it will be sending a packet. This packet, when it is sending to MN, it will be putting a source IP address, then it will be putting a destination IP address. Okay, the source IP address will be the address of the CN, destination address will be the address of the MN. So based on the source IP address, okay, based on the source IP address, the MN will be replying to the source IP address. So whenever it sends when I mean it is sending a packet to the CN, it will be putting this IP address of the CN, okay, which it obtains from the previous packet it had received, and that is the way it will reply to the correct CN, if that is what you are asking. Okay. So is the packet delivery mechanism understood by all? Very important question. So if you have understood this, now let's look at the two methods of agent discovery that I have mentioned briefly to you, but let's look a little bit in detail. Okay. So now when like I told you, when a mobile node goes to a foreign network, okay, in order to continue to receive data correctly, it must find a foreign agent, okay, and from the foreign agent it gets the care of address. Care of address is nothing but the current location of the MN, okay. The MN is gone to foreign network, it has to find the foreign agent. So process of finding the foreign agent is, like I told you, it is known as agent discovery, okay. So once it finds the agent, that process is known, the process of finding the foreign agent is agent discovery. Two ways of doing the agent discovery: agent advertisement and agent solicitation, okay. Let's look at both of them. So in the first method, agent advertisement, okay, agent advertisement. So in agent advertisement, normally the foreign agent, okay, I'm describing the process of agent advertisement now, okay. So the foreign agent or the home agent normally advertise their presence through periodic messages, okay. So they keep sending some messages periodically after some certain intervals of time, and these messages contain one or more care of addresses, okay, one or more care of addresses and a flag. So this flag will tell whether it's a home agent or it's a foreign agent, okay. So the messages that will be sent in agent advertisement, okay, is done by whom? The agent themselves, okay. So the, like for example, if you are looking to buy a house and you check online, sometimes the agents themselves post, no, that they have some houses to sell. So this is that way, okay. So what the agents do, the foreign agent or the home agent, they advertise their presence through periodic advertisements, okay. So these advertisement messages contain one or more care of addresses, okay, and the second important thing it contains is the flag. So this flag indicates whether it's a home agent, the message is sent by a home agent, or the message is sent by a foreign agent, okay. So once the MN receives this message, the MN can register with that agent, okay, and obtain a care of address. Clear? Let's just look at this. Basically, this is your agent advertisement. So like I told you, foreign and home agents will advertise their presence with periodic messages, okay, and the message will contain one or more care of address, and the second thing that it will contain is a flag which tells whether the message has been sent by a home agent or a foreign agent, okay. The second method for agent discovery is agent solicitation. Now it may so happen that the MN has joined a foreign network, okay, and it is not able to get the message from the agent, okay. So it is the agent advertisement has not yet happened, or it happened already before the mobile node had joined the foreign network, okay. And say the mobile node wants to find an agent quickly before the agent advertisement message comes, then it is allowed a second way of where the MN can try on its own to find the agent. Okay, so in the second method, the MN on its own tries to find the agent. So therefore, the name of that method is known as agent solicitation. Okay, so now agent solicitation means the MN has not received the message from the agent advertisement message. So therefore, what it will do, it can send on its own messages to try to find the agent. It can send 3 such messages per second. Okay, or you can say 1 per second. Sorry, 1 per second. So as soon as it enters the network, it can send 3 messages. Okay, 3 solicitation messages, 1 per second. So why we are saying only 3 solicitation messages? Because we want to not to flood the network with such messages. Okay, we don't want to flood such network with solicitation messages. Okay, other the bandwidth will be occupied with only such messages. Okay, so the main purpose of this solicitation messages is to find a foreign agent. Okay, so they are allowed, a mobile node is allowed to send 3 solicitation messages as soon as it enters the network. Okay, and I think they must have found out that sending 3 solicitation messages is quite good enough to find the agent. Okay, so basically let's just go through this in my slide that I mentioned, the same thing what I just told you. The agent solicitation. So suppose the mobile node does not get the COA through the agent advertisement, then the mobile node can send agent solicitation message. Okay, so agent solicitation message means as soon as it enters the network, it will send 3 solicitation messages, 1 per second. The purpose of this messages is to find a foreign agent. Okay, suppose it is not finding a foreign agent, then it won't keep sending such messages because it will reduce, it will flood the network. So if it's not finding any response to its solicitation messages, then it will try to reduce the number of messages sent. Okay, it will try to reduce the rate of sending such messages in order to prevent network flooding. This it does only if it is not finding a response to its solicitation message. Okay, then it will just exponentially reduce the number of messages sent, prevent the flooding of network. So I hope you have found you have understood the 2 methods of agent discovery. First method is as soon as it enters the network, the agent itself may advertise its presence by sending agent advertisement message. Agent advertisement message will contain 2 things basically: care of address and a flag. The flag tells whether the messages come from foreign agent or home agent. If suppose the MN is not getting agent advertisement message, then it can on its own send a message using the second method. Okay, that is known as agent solicitation message. In agent solicitation message, it can send 3 messages, so that is 1 per second. And suppose it is not getting any response from a foreign agent, then it reduces the rate at which it sends these messages in order to prevent the flooding of the network. Okay, so basically these are the 2 methods of registering and obtaining a care of address when a MN goes to a foreign network. So any questions on this, on the agent discovery? It's an important question that comes for you for your exams. Explain the process of agent discovery. Then you need to explain both these methods.
Sir.
Yes.
Hello, sir. So after reducing the rate of sending the message for preventing flooding, to prevent flooding of the bandwidth, then how it gets the care of address if it doesn't get in that way?
No, basically, what happens is through trial and error, whatever they have found out that sending these three messages is good. See, when you send, you are sending three messages, no, one per second. Okay. So in network terms, in mobile network terms, or in wireless network terms, the interval of 1 second between the messages also is considered a very long time. Okay. So gap or delay for us, 1 second is very short time, but in a wireless network, 1 second is considered to be a very long time. Okay. So now when it is sending it is allowed to send three messages, no? So when it is allowed to send three messages, that is one per second, means it will be sending like this type messages in 3 seconds. So three messages will go in 3 seconds. Okay. So 3 seconds is a very long time in wireless network. So within these 3 seconds, if it is not getting a response from a foreign agent, then it will understand that some problem is there or something is there, so it will reduce its rate of sending. Okay, maybe it has gone out of network or something like that, some problem is there, so it will reduce its interval between the sending of the solicitation messages in order to stop sending or stop flooding the network. Okay, that is the mechanism they have kept in order to prevent the flooding of network.
So then
So
finally it gets the care of address if it
yes,
reduces.
yes, it will get the care of address as long as the foreign agent is responding to it.
Okay.
Okay, so normally you expect the foreign agent to respond within the first 3 seconds. So otherwise, then the mobile node will just decrease its, and in future it will expect the foreign agent to respond to it. Maybe it will take a slightly longer time then. So yeah, any other questions? Okay. So basically, we saw the packet delivery today. Hopefully, everyone has understood this. It's an important question. The question on agent discovery is very important. 8 marks question. Okay, you have to explain again both the methods if it is asked. Sometimes they may ask you only one of the methods for 5 marks or 3 marks and on. Then you have to explain only that much. Okay, look at the question and answer. But it's an important topic. Then the next question that is asked is features of mobile IP. Okay, so there are basically 4 features. So we just go to them. It's pretty simple. So first feature that is required in mobile IP. Okay, like we have discussed, what is mobile IP? Mobile IP means your mobile is allowed to, or mobile node is allowed to move across networks without losing connection. So basically, you know that as long as you are connected to the internet, you can continue to send and receive data. Okay, so as long as you're connected to the network, so that is the main thing. You can keep moving across networks, does not matter, but as long as you stay connected to the internet, you're within the network range, you will continue to receive your data. Okay, so that is basically the main purpose of mobile IP. So there are some features that are required, basic features. So there are 4 features: transparency, compatibility, security, and the fourth one is efficiency and scalability. So transparency means the mobile should be able to keep its IP address. Okay, so even if it keeps moving from one network to another network, its IP address should not keep changing. Okay, so the sender of the data should not know that a mobile has shifted from one network to another network. The sender should just send the data without worrying where the mobile is located currently. Okay, so that is meaning of transparency. The meaning of transparency is the mobile network, the sender will not be aware where the mobile is present currently. Okay, so even if there is some interruptions in the services, the bandwidth problems, then also the data should reach the communication should happen correctly. Okay, so network issues or any kind of interruption should not affect the communication. Second feature that is required is compatibility. So compatibility means existing technology should be used. Okay. You, suppose I want to use a mobile, I should not be downloading some new applications to use the mobile. Whatever is the existing facilities, existing protocols, those only protocols should be used. We need not use new technologies. Okay, new applications. Then the next feature that is required is security. Okay, so it should provide secure communications. So when you're sending the data from one system to another system, it should authenticate the correct packet. Whatever sender is sending, that only data should reach to the receiver. It should not, the attacker should not be able to use some fake IPs and send other packets using the fake IPs. Okay, so should provide secure communication over the internet. And the fourth feature that is required in mobile IP is efficiency and scalability. So efficiency means if there is a lot of mobile systems, then also the communication should work properly. Okay, and also it should be able to support scalable, means it should be able to support billions of moving hosts. Okay, a lot of hosts, so which are moving around. Okay, so it should when these hosts are moving around, it should not result in too much computational overhead or a large number of messages being sent simply, resulting in lower bandwidth. Okay, so it should not flood the network with new messages. Okay, so basically efficiency and scalability means it should be able to support a large number of mobile users that are moving around without incurring additional computational overhead. Okay, so these are the 4 basic features of mobile IP. Again, this is the important question for you from the point of exams. They ask you what are the features of mobile IP, then you need to tell these 4 features: transparency, compatibility, security. The fourth one is efficiency and scalability. Okay, so any doubts about these features? Okay, so I'll stop.